Hello, Knockouts. Tonya TKO here, and I'm a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourselves and one another. On this channel, we use viral video topics as teachable moments for what self-love or self-abuse looks like in our lives. And I want to give a special shout out to the person who sent this video to me. I got this video and I wanted to do a reaction to it. However, there's so many stories that come in that it is almost difficult to cover all of them. And I decided that I wanted to make this video because we've been going through some changes on the platform lately where we are doing more emphasis on self-repair, self-healing for Black women now at this point. And so second, I want to give a shout out to Cynthia G, who does these still shot voiceover teaching videos, which I find to be very good teaching tools. And so I am going to utilize a similar technique in this video. I used to do podcasts and voiceover videos before, but they were so graphic intensive that it was a lot more editing work than doing the live video and just doing the editing or the screen switching on the spot. However, I would like to make more videos, and I'm hoping that this will be a great alternative because there's so many stories out there that need to be covered. And if this is a better alternative to recording, then I'll be able to get more lessons out, because we have decided to create a shift into lessons, deeper, intensive lessons for Black women healing. And I'm still going to use these viral topics as the teachable moments, because this one right here is one that we all need to pay attention to, because this is an older woman. I'm going to play the video for you. This is an older woman waxing poetic at the gravesite of her beloved. And I want you to hear what it is that she says and how the people around her are acting and behaving. Let's play it and then come right back.
What you say?
She is crazy.
What you say? You loved him, but what?
I love him, but he loved Peggy better than he did me.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, but I love you. I'm praying for your soul to be saved. I still love you. I don't care how you treated me. I love you.
Miss you, Daddy. You was a good daddy.
Your soul rest in
Just
peace.
didn't know where home was on Friday, but you was a good
Oh my God.
Got that right.
And I am telling you, I'm not going nowhere, 'cause you're the Black man I wish I knew. There's no one who could ever do. No, 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 no way. No, 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 no way. I'm divesting without you. I'm not waking up tomorrow morning to see that there's no Black man there. No, 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 no way. No, 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 no way. I'm living without you. I'm not living without you. I don't wanna be free. And yo, and yo, and yo, you're gonna love me. Oh! What the hell? Come on. Yeah, this is a no from me. You know, I didn't find anything about this funny. This is a travesty. This whole thing is a big mess, a boondoggle. You know, there's so many different pieces of this that are problematic. One, the granddaughter taking the grandmother there. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I didn't understand this caption. Took my 94-year-old grandmother to visit her late husband's grave after 43 years. And this is what she had to say. And I wonder, were they married for 43 years or had 43 years passed? I tried zooming in and looking at the gravestone so that I could see a date to get more clarity on that, but I couldn't. And I think that information is relevant to this piece, but we're just going to have to go without. And then furthermore, let's dissect, because another thing that was confusing about this were the words that they were saying. So I captioned this, but if you hear something different than I did, by all means comment it below, because I want to be as accurate as possible. So let's go into this piece by piece.
I love him, but he loved Peggy better than he did me.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no. No, there's absolutely nothing about this that is funny. And the granddaughter is like, oh, Jesus. No, this is not funny. This is not cute. This is a travesty. This is a cautionary tale for which we should steer our lives in a different direction. This is the sad story of a grandmother forlorn over a philandering grandfather. Over there standing over his grave, praying for him. Let's go forward.
But I love you. I'm praying for your soul to be saved. I still love you. I don't care how you treat me. I love you.
Step right up. Hurry, hurry. Before the show begins, my friends, stand in line, get your tickets. I hope you will attend. It'll only cost you just one click to see what life has done to my poor old granny. Oh, it's the saddest show in town. Hurry, hurry, gather around. Come to TikTok and see how I can pimp my own family. I mean, come on. Come on. There was absolutely nothing about this that was acceptable. This was a teachable moment for this family. If not for the grandma, because I understand that older people can get set in their ways. Because at any moment, anybody could have stepped aside and said, you know what, Grandma? Self-love is the first love. We understand that you had an attachment to Grandpa. That's all right. But when you start saying that it doesn't matter how he treated you, no, it does matter how he treated you. It does. And you have got to put yourself first. And if she protests, that's fine. That's fine. But if at the very least, this is a teachable moment for the granddaughter, so that she's not there in the background cackling. Oh, Jesus. And speaking of which, you know, it's not lost on me that so many of us practice this quote unquote Christian ideal that was taught to us by people who were very unchristianly, which has so many different texts and paragraphs. They even had an entire Negro Bible that took out anything about rebellion, but there's so many texts and paragraphs about forgiving and being all forgiving and not rebelling and turning the other cheek and allowing yourself to be abused. And the same indoctrination that had us worshiping white men transcended over into us worshiping black men. We have been disconnected from our divine femininity. I remember when I was a Christian, I often felt this internal shame about being a woman. There was story after story after story of women who just couldn't do right, who were betraying their husbands, who were chopping off their husband's hair and immodest and all of these different things. They were backstabbers and liars and seductresses and Jezebels and Gomorrahs and Delilahs and just one trifling woman after another. Women who were lesser than, women who had to marry the men who assaulted them, women who sat idly by while their husbands took their maid or their sister to procreate with them because she couldn't have children, and then that was acceptable because he received the message that he should lay with the maid and make his maid the womb for their child. And then after many centuries of not having children, then she has a child, then he takes the child up to the altar to slaughter the child to prove something, and she had no power to stop. There were so many women that had no power, so many women that accepted philandering in the name of religion. And what about the maid? What did the maid want? What did the maid not want? A person who is under your control cannot consent. What if a woman did not want to be with the man who assaulted her? Basically, they had women marrying their rapistest, and the father and the brother had to get paid if the daughter was sullied by a man who took her behind the bush and took advantage of. Did anyone consider the daughter? Why would anyone want to marry, wake up to, and have children with the person who assaulted her? I mean, they were paid. So this is biblical daughter prostitution? I don't understand. Are you tired of missing Tonya TKO's live videos? Arriving late when the video is well underway or about to end? Are you fatigued of only seeing a live video randomly while perusing YouTube and Facebook? Or worse, you randomly unsubscribed? Well, now you can get a text notification whenever I go live. No longer are we dependent on the algorithm of these fickle platforms. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $4.99 a month international, you get a personalized text message 15 minutes before each live show. Now, you can show up early with the Text Squad, meet other people from all over the world, and get invited to secret broadcasts off-platform. Most importantly, support your favorite independent creator. Go to TonyaTKO.com and click on text. Join the TKO Text Squad today. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $22 a year if you pay in advance, $4.99 a month international, $50 a year if you pay in advance, you'll never again be tardy to the party. I'll see you on the next broadcast. TonyaTKO.com/text. They had the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, male worship in its finest. And the only woman that they saw fit that could give birth to Jesus was one in which they stated was a married virgin. So they made her a virgin to be able to give birth to a man so that she would be touched by no man. So there's like all of these confusing principles and doctrines where we're worshiping men, but men still are embedding the lack of worth for their own bodies inside of the Bible. And, I don't want to get into a religious spiel, but when she said, "Oh, Jesus," and when we think about old school grandmothers and grandfathers, and we think about how certain people felt that they had dominion, and how that dominion transcended from the men down to other men, and where did it leave women? Worshiping at the feet of men. It was just story after story after story of powerless women who accepted poor treatment. So I don't mean to bring up religion into a situation like this, but when we are indoctrinated into a text that presents women in this light, is it no wonder? Because this is not natural. It's not natural to sit up there talking about how a man couldn't find his way home, that he loves some other woman more than you. This grandmother here, so disconnected from her own self-worth and her own self-love, that she is positing that it did not matter how she was treated, that it didn't matter how he abused her. This man was so terrible in life that she didn't even feel that he made it to heaven. She's at his gravesite praying for the saving of his soul. Praying for his soul to be saved, but he's already dead. He's gone, which means that he was so terrible to her in this life, so demonic, so demented, that she has to stand over his grave and pray for his redemption 43 years after he's gone. I want to jump into the rest of this.
I still love you. I don't care how you treated me. I love you.
Miss you, Daddy. You was a good daddy.
Your soul rest in
Just
peace.
didn't know where home was on Friday, but you was a good
Oh my God.
Got that right.
Yeah, no. That was even worse second time around, because I sit here and I look at her in her emaciated body, one foot in the grave herself, waxing poetic about how her husband loved another woman more than he loved her, and giving out some what people consider to be some high vibrational wishes for his soul or whatnot. But one of the highest vibrations that you can emanate is to love yourself. I know in so many of our teachings, we're taught to care for others. We're taught to look out for other people, for other creations of the universe. But what about you? Are you not a creation of the universe? Are you not a light of the ray of universal source energy? Do you not deserve your own love and care and attention and affection? It also makes me wonder about their relationship. She's saying that he loved another woman more than he loved her. So what does that say about their marriage? What does it say about their relationship? What does it say about the dynamic that existed if he spent his time in some other woman's home and they didn't know where to find him, or he didn't know how to find his way back home? If you understood what that sentence was, please type it below. It makes me wonder, and I say this with all due respect, it makes me wonder whether or not she was the side piece and the side piece was the main squeeze, because he knew where to go and where to give his attention and his affection. And it makes me wonder whether or not it was that that other woman wouldn't have him. And it makes me further delve into what dynamic may have existed that had him fawning after another woman while this woman was at home fawning after him. And why did she fawn after him for so long? We were talking to a woman last night on one of the coaching calls that we broadcast, and I'm going to be chopping up some of these calls and republishing them because I think that they're tremendous teachable moments for the rest of us. And it was this young lady that we spoke to who had been waiting years for her boyfriend to ask her to marry him. Waiting and waiting and waiting, and he kept delaying and putting it off and changing the subject, then changing the dynamic and moving the goalposts and setting all these barriers. And I asked her, how long are you willing to wait? Are you willing to forego having children? Are you willing to spend your youth, the best years of your life, your vibrancy in this situation, waiting for this man to ask you for your hand in marriage? He knows that you have a biological clock. He knows that there's only but so much time that a woman can have children. And if he is spending 5, 10, 15 years of your life and fertility spinning wheels inside your life, it makes me wonder, how much does he really truly care about you, that he would not fully commit to you, yet still keep you occupied from being able to go out there and find a man who is willing to give you the commitment that you say that you need, that he is not willing, able, or ready to give you right now. And it makes me wonder about your level of self-love, that you would give your fertile years to a man who doesn't care about your fertility, who doesn't care about your ability to ever be able to procreate, or to have the safety and security that you need in a committed relationship that he's not willing to provide. How much does he truly care about you? And it makes me wonder about leadership, right? I'm going to get to leadership in a moment, but I want to delve back into this woman right here. 43 years after his death, standing over his grave, still waiting, still talking about this other woman that she knew he had affections for, that she felt were greater than the affections that he had for her. Now, we can't quantify that. We don't know. We don't know whether or not she was jealous or she felt that he loved somebody else. We don't know. But this video is really for you. This video is for you to look within yourself and ask yourself, where in your life are you settling for less? Where in your life are you accepting an unacceptable reality? Something that is beneath you. Something that you are better than, that you have more worth than, that when you know your worth, you would not stand for. The reason why this is such a potent self-love example right here is because it doesn't really matter whether or not he did or didn't love her as much or less than some other woman. The fact of the matter is that she felt that he did. And that even as she is saying that she felt that he loved someone else, she is still there professing her love for him, saying that it did not matter to her how he treated her. And I'm telling you that you must set boundaries on how people treat you. I know we all in some of our teachings try to ascend to this agape love, right? Agape love is that universal source love that we get from source. Right? That unconditional love. When it comes to being a human, okay, listen. Let's say you want to have a love that is unconditional for other people. That's fine if you feel that you want to have that love. However, there still needs to be conditions on whether or not this person has the right or the ability to interact with you. Yes, you can love them from afar, love them as a human, yes, but from afar. Because there must be conditions, because if you think about it, if there are no conditions, that means a person could box you upside the head and you're still supposed to love them. The person can tell you to leave and you're still going to be like, and you're gonna no. A person can do any number of things to you and you'll just stick around. No. There has to be boundaries on what is acceptable and unacceptable in your relationship. Now, I can imagine that this other woman had some sort of boundaries. I mean, not many, because she was dating a married man. However, we don't know whether or not his love and affections for her were unrequited, and hence why he stayed married. Because I can imagine if she would have had him, he most likely would have gotten a divorce or just never came back home. Or maybe that's what he did. Or maybe he used this unattainable love as a way to stay fixated on a person he fetishized without ever really fully developing his relationship muscle to know how to treat a person anyway. Maybe he just went from place to place, just wrecking homes. But nonetheless, now let's talk about leadership real quick. When we talk about men and their leadership abilities and women and how men feel that they're leaders, okay, ladies, you need to really take a step back and take men at their word that they feel that they're leaders. And this is when you sit back and you look at their leadership abilities. Where is he leading you? If you have a man in your life who will not commit to you, where is he leading you and that family? Where is he leading you? Where is he leading himself? What type of life is he living? What type of vibration is he emanating and ruminating at? Look at the way he lives his life. Look at the type of self-control that he exhibits. Does he have control over his body, his sex drive, his seed? Does he have good morals? Is he upstanding? What type of leader does he make? Can you trust him? And if you can't trust him and you don't like his leadership abilities, then what are you doing? Why are you aligning yourself with a man that you can't trust, who you would not want to be guided by? You know, far too often, I hear men talk about what leaders they are, and they can't even control their sex drive. Somebody bounce something soft up in front of their face and they go a-running. Or they're out here with multiple children and multiple broken homes, and you have to wonder, how in control is this man he can't control his genitals? You know, for far too often, because of our teachings, we hold women to the higher standard, that it's a woman that's supposed to keep her legs closed. But listen, it's the man that places the seed inside of the woman. A woman can only get pregnant about 4 days out of a month. How many wombs is he running into, Harry Carey? And I want you to ask yourself this question. If he cannot be trusted to control himself intimately, right? If he's not responsible enough to make sure that he is protecting himself and having intercourse responsibly, if he is behaving and engaging in a set of behaviors and recklessly just being wanton, but expecting you to be the one of high moral caliber and high moral fiber, then what does that say about his leadership abilities? I need you to ask yourself these questions. Are you tired of missing Tonya TKO's live videos? Arriving late when the video is well underway or about to end? Are you fatigued of only seeing a live video randomly while perusing YouTube and Facebook? Or worse, randomly unsubscribed? Well, now you can get a text notification whenever I go live. No longer are we dependent on the algorithm of these fickle platforms. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $4.99 a month international, you get a personalized text message 15 minutes before each live show. Now, you can show up early with the Tech Squad, meet other people from all over the world, and get invited to secret broadcasts off-platform. Most importantly, support your favorite independent creator. Go to TonyaTKO.com and click on text. Join the TKO Tech Squad today for just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $22 a year if you pay in advance, $4.99 a month international, $50 a year if you pay in advance. You'll never again be tardy to the party. I'll see you on the next broadcast. TonyaTKO.com/thanks. What type of leader do you think the philandering grandfather was? Do you think that he was kind to his wife? We already know that he wasn't. Do you think that he was a person that you can trust, a person who was in control of himself? No, absolutely not. He was the type of person that 43 years after his death, you still needed to be praying for his redemption. Yet, there are still Black women gathered around his grave, singing the praises of how great he was as a dad. I'm sorry, no. As a father, one of the greatest ways that you can love your children is to respect and honor their mother. How great of a father could you be, and you're abusing the very womb and portal that those children came into this world into? How great of a father could you be if you didn't know your way home and people didn't know how to find you, and that your affections were broken up and amongst many different households, and you were out there philandering, having other women exalted above your wife? How great of a father could you have been? It's high time that we stopped making excuses for men. Oh, he can't control himself. No, you're supposed to be a leader, right? You can control yourself if you wanted to, but we have been giving men carte blanche, free pass to go out here willy-nilly and harry-carily, just doing whatever it is that they want. And us women, who are supposed to be the ones guided by them, are the ones who have to often lead them when it comes to their desires. On that note, I want to hear your thoughts below. What are your thoughts about this situation? What are the self-love lessons that are your takeaway from this? Also, what do you think of this new video style? It was actually a lot more difficult to do an audio video than a video. I'm not exactly sure why, but this took many, many hours to create and to edit and to package. So I want to hear your thoughts about everything. It's so late right now. I'm so tired. I just want to get this together to get it up onto the sites. Thank you so much for coming out. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, love yourself. And part of loving yourself is to know your worth. And if you don't know your worth, listen to that feeling on the inside when something is telling you that something is not right. And know that you are an example for your children who are watching how you navigate. Not only that, you deserve to be happy. And if you are rolling around in a situation, not setting boundaries, not putting your happiness in the forefront of your life and mind, what are you doing? We only have but a short time here on this earth, and there are no do-overs. There are no do-overs. You know, on a final thought, I wonder how free she may have felt when he was gone. I wonder if she felt a weight lifted off of her. I wonder, because if it had been 43 years since she visited his gravesite, then that's one thing that I take issue with, lack of clarity, because I don't know if it's 43 years since she's been there, 43 years since he died. I don't know, but I guess you can tell me your thoughts on that too. What do you think about all of this? And if there is something that I got wrong, because I am not a Bible scholar. I only know what they taught me in church and Bible study and what I read myself with my own eyes. And you know, a lot of the Bible is allegory and interpreted, so I don't know if I should invite interpretations, because I put up on the screen what the text actually said. So, but if we are going to talk about that, I'd love to hear the feedback from people who can find a correlation between the positing in the Bible and people enduring abuse in real life. Because I've had many people come to me not wanting to leave abusive relationships, not wanting to give up on men who were just doing them horribly for wanting to be a good Christian, etc. And I'm going to leave the floor open for you. If there's something that needs to be corrected or expound upon for other people that you feel may need additional clarity, by all means, put it in the comments below. And I will see you all in the next video. Tonya TKO, and I am out. Peace. Thank you for doing what it is that you all have done. Thank you. Thank you so much. Make sure that you click around here for other videos. Come to my website, tonyatko.com. Get my book on Amazon. And love yourself through my content. Tonya TKO, and I am out.